in a couple of voices to help us sort all of this out. Joining me now is the political panel, Autry Pruitt, the CEO of New Journey PAC, and Jan Ronis, Democrat commentator, is with us. All right. Now, Donald Trump has weighed in on this, and he has taken the side of Nigeria. And that's no surprise, really, because he was banned, as the report from Farron indicated, by Twitter, Facebook, and all the rest of them. So he knows what the Nigerian president feels like. And I got to tell you, for Twitter to do what they did, taking down a presidential tweet and then being surprised that the president of that country would react, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's start with you, Autry.
The bottom line is Twitter is weak. They're just flagrantly throwing about some power against Nigeria. If they really wanted to show power, if they really wanted to go after what they believed was corruption or inaccurate or misinformation, they would say, you know what, we're going to start taking down tweets of the communists in China. But they're not going to do that because China would cut them off and Twitter will die. See, Twitter will only go after those who can't really have an infrastructure to fight back, or those, like in the U.S., whose laws make it so free for corporations to operate that there is no recourse for President Trump when he got banned. So Twitter is just simply being the big bully on the national stage, international stage.
What do you think, Jen? You agree?
No, I disagree. And listen, Twitter has been very responsible. The president has been on the airwaves and on social media time after time, putting out false rumors and lies that the election was stolen and other kinds of, quite frankly, propaganda to support his failed presidency and to support his bid for return to power. And so Twitter's being responsible. They're doing what any responsible non-governmental agency ought to do, and that is to ban him, as has Facebook and other social media sites. So it's ridiculous to suggest that the president, who's been engaged in this continuing effort to mislead the American public, should be heard to say that Twitter is somehow irresponsible and not serving the public good.
You know, I've seen the leader of Iran get a Twitter platform. I've seen the leader of Hamas get a Twitter platform. I saw Alec Baldwin tweet out he wanted Trump taken from the White House, stomped on, choked on the way out. And those three people are still on Twitter. But let's move on and finish that debate another time. I want you to watch this.
We have to figure out how to get every American a place at the table in this democracy, but how to separate Americanness, America, from whiteness.
All right, that's Mara Gay of the New York Times and MSNBC, spewing really the kind of talk you'd expect from someone with those dual credentials, but it gets even worse. Watch.
I was on Long Island this weekend visiting a really dear friend, and I was really disturbed. I saw, dozens and dozens of pickup trucks with, explicatives against Joe Biden on the back of them, Trump flags, and some cases just dozens of American flags, which, is also just disturbing. Because
so seeing American flags is disturbing, she says. I mean, to me, that's what's disturbing. Jan, I'll give it to you first.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm offended by the thought that seeing the American flag is disturbing. On the other hand, to some extent, the right wing in this country has kind of hijacked the American flag and wears it on their sleeve to suggest that people that don't fly the flag or don't wear it on their sleeve are somehow unpatriotic. I don't think there's any connection between patriotism and whether you fly the flag above your house or you have it on the back of your car. I mean, listen, those were intemperate remarks. I don't support them. But on the other hand, I don't support any theory that just because you fly the American flag, that makes you somehow more patriotic than people that choose not to do so for all kinds of reasons.
Autry, there's so much I want to ask you, but let's start with the fact that the New York Times, as you might expect, defended Ms. Gay in her comments. But, I mean, this is just as despicable, almost, as you'll see later, almost as despicable as it gets.
This is what bothers me. The absolute hypocrisy and disgusting grossness of this young lady. She speaks all of this out from a white platform, from a white neighborhood, from a white corporation, from the white people who pay her that money. So all of this nonsense, all of this garbage about America separating it from whiteness, why doesn't she separate herself first? You know why? Because it's hypocrisy. It's ludicrous. It's stupid. And I'm certainly glad the colleague with me, the Democratic colleague, understands and certainly agrees with the fact that he's not evil just because he happens to be of European descent.
Jen, explain to me what you mean by that the conservatives or the Republicans, as I forget which term you used, have hijacked the American flag. Yeah, no, but I knew you used that term. But whether you said conservatives or Republicans, I don't remember.
Right.
But what do you mean by that, Jan?
What I mean is that if you drive around this country, listen, I support the flying of the American flag, but on the other hand, there seems to be a movement in the country that if you don't fly the flag, you're not patriotic. If you don't have two flags on your car, if you're not a double flagger. I mean, listen, to some extent, the right in this country, just like the religionists to some extent, have hijacked religion and hijacked the American flag to somehow suggest because they have it higher in the sky or they have more on their bumpers that they're somehow more patriotic than people that just choose not to fly the American flag.
Who's saying that?
And I find that irksome. You can support.
Who said that?
You can listen. I'm saying it, and I'm suggesting you can show your patriotism in many forms. It doesn't have to be necessarily so out there that you have to put it all over your house or on your car. But I support the right of people to do that. When they do, I don't think any worse of them. But when they don't, I don't think any worse of them as well. It's a two-way street.
All right, Autry, respond.
How about we support patriotism by saying that skin color doesn't matter, pigmentation doesn't matter. This is not about how high you fly your flag. No reputable conservative or Republican is out there going, well, I have a flag and my flag is higher. That's absolutely nonsense. That is Democrat MSNBC propaganda. All I want for you is to recognize me for my character, not my pigmentation.
Well, listen. Remember when I said that stay tuned because something is actually even worse than what Mara Gay had to say, and this is absolutely worse. Watch this from NBC News. Watch.
Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is under fire for this tweet she sent summarizing an exchange with Secretary Blinken on Monday. We have seen unthinkable atrocities committed by the U.S., Hamas, Israel, Afghanistan, and the Taliban, she wrote.
All right, Jan. So she claimed later that she didn't say what she said, but there it is. So what do you think of a sitting U.S. Congresswoman who sits on powerful committees comparing the United States and Israel, but focus on the United States here, to the Taliban and Hamas?
Listen, there are many more artful ways and articulate ways to express your displeasure with some of the policy of the United States. Doing it in the way that this congresswoman has done it in this instance and multiple times in the past offends me. And so, but the fact is, she's a congresswoman. There's nothing we can do about it, and there's nothing we can do about people on the right suggesting things that is equally ludicrous, such as the 2020 election was stolen. I mean, we have people of differing and radical and intemperate points of view in both parties. Neither party has a lock on their fringe groups, nor does either party have a lock on sanity and rationality. Quite frankly, both parties are pretty rational.
I know a certain presidential candidate from 2020 who believed the election was stolen from her, and a certain gubernatorial candidate in Georgia who believed that the election was stolen from her, and nobody seemed to attack them. So your take on it, Autry? We got about a minute in this segment. Go ahead.
My take is real simple. You know what we should do? Pick up Ilhan Omar. Let's drop her off in Iran. Drop her off somewhere over Gaza with the Palestinians. Let's drop her off for about 6 months and see how far she goes. This is what I mean. It's hypocrisy. It's stupidity. Because she would have none of the rights to speak up as a woman in this country compared to those countries. So she is telling a lie that's from the pit of HE double hockey sticks itself.
Well, I wonder how her constituency will react in 2022, and if they decide to put her back in again, that speaks volumes for that constituency.